What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the data points, what's really moving it, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is down 3.41%, 1198 the low, so new 52-week and all-time low being hit, 1289 the high, and 5.09 million shares being traded, 9.5 is the average. So today was kind of a interesting day because during after hours yesterday we had NVIDIA earnings. Market was very hyped up because of that. And then as well, we did have Saudi Arabia mentioning that they're going to be raising their kind of initial 600 billion investment to now 1 trillion. So market was ecstatic and really wanting everything to go higher. Unfortunately, we did get some negative data. So right now we got actually a massive data dump today. So we had non-farm payroll, which came in at 119, forecast of 50, which is good. But unemployment came in at 4.4 versus a forecast of 4.3. A lot of initial jobless claims. So because of the whole shutdown, we got a data dump of that. Even Fed speakers are saying that all this data is a complete mess. As a byproduct of this negative data, though, you did see the likelihood of a cut for the upcoming December 10th meeting go up slightly. So now there is a 39.6% likelihood. So still nothing crazy. But one thing that really popped the, I guess, day today and the optimism was Cook signaling a possible market drop due to high valuations. Historically, you can kind of see that Cook isn't really that bullish overall. So that again is something just to kind of keep in mind. And I know some of you might be saying, hey, Lucid's market cap is 4.04 billion. They have, what was it, 2.8 or whatever in cash and cash equivalents. Like, this is a screaming buying opportunity. As I've mentioned in many videos, technically Lucid has a lot of convertible products and Wall Street is starting to already price in future dilution of those convertible products. So for those of you that are saying that Lucid's a screaming buying opportunity, even coming from a PS standpoint, because of course Lucid isn't profitable right now, but if we pull up PS, technically Lucid's 3.5. So that is still kind of high in comparison to a lot of other EVs. So again, I think Lucid is going down because of that. At the same time, we do have a lot of negative consumer linked to data points. And as I've mentioned, when consumers are struggling, they're not going to go out and buy a $100,000+ vehicle. Even technically, Lucid did give a nice Easter egg. So I think right now they are at the LA Auto Show. And it looks like they posted this on, I think, Instagram, and it just says something new, LA Auto Show, and then the 20th. And I think in general, this is going to be the touring, right? So the Gravity touring. And this is also something that Lucid really needs to clarify. I've brought this up in the past, but nobody seems to even comment on this. But during Mark's last interview prior to the earnings, they said that they're going to extend that 7,500 credit. They have not really given any details on how they're going to do that. Even if you go on Lucid's website, it doesn't actually give anything that works out to be that 7,500. But the whole reason why they did the touring at the price point they did, roughly $79.9, is to get that 7,500 tax credit. So I think just the touring, as much as that was going to be a huge deal for Lucid and still could, I think just given consumers, they're still not going to be out there buying kind of higher price vehicles, right? That's just the unfortunate truth and very unpopular opinion. I know I always get crapped on all the time for saying comments like that, but after several months, people look back and realize, or maybe they don't realize, but I was accurate in a lot of these kind of thoughts. So in general, just consumers are struggling. There's been a lot of signs of cracking. At the time of doing this video, shorts are increasing 292,000 shares. 29.6% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 42.7 million shares overall being shorted. So shorts are starting to really get back into Lucid. So that's not the greatest. And even leading up to like the last week, short surprisingly did return a lot up to then. So I think there was a lot of optimism that there was going to be some partnership, some deal. But during Lucid's last earnings, they didn't hint at any new partnerships aside from what they've disclosed with, which was NVIDIA, Uber, and Neuro. But even on social media, there really hasn't been anything posted worthwhile to stop what you're doing and buy Lucid. Looking at the options, 329,000 in calls, 791,000 in puts, and then 52% of all the options being done today are bullish in nature. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 1250 to 13. So optimism has dropped like a rock. And I mentioned this, I think 2 videos ago. A lot of people like, hey, I proved you're actually shorting. I did sell a put. So for those of you that are going to comment on kind of options, at least know what the hell you're talking about. If I bought a put, that means I'm betting on the downside of Lucid, and which I would be up like hundreds of % right now if I did buy a put. I sold a $10 put. So in case you do not know what that means, if Lucid, I think it is by December the 5th, is below $10, then I buy it. If it is above $10, then I get to keep the premium. Well, regardless, I get to keep the premium. So it's not bearish. What I was saying is I was actually worried that Lucid most likely will kind of hit that, and I don't want to buy more Lucid. That's like, I think given the circumstances of Lucid, it's in a falling knife. Way too many pumpers on social media saying that we're going to be seeing an epic reversal and all this other crap. I think just a lot of people are extremely hopeful that Lucid is going to turn things around, but the circumstances and the data just doesn't justify it. So I think just Lucid is too late to the game to actually make a substantial change, unfortunately. But looking at the secondary market, you do see 2 buys, 3 sells. So institutions aren't really doing that much. So a lot of the action today is linked to algorithmic trading. These are some of the transactions occurring on the dark pool. You see a lot of hold numbers. That is fair to assume that is hedge funds. So hedge funds most likely are trading Lucid a lot, and given the price action, most likely hedge funds are selling. Right now with it at 1198, it did break below that 1230 range, and so that isn't great. That was going to be that line in the sand, and it did bounce off of that general area a few times, in fact. But now the next strong support is going to be 1180. So once again, for those of you that kind of have been around Lucid for a while, that is $1.18. Can you believe Lucid's at $1.18? And I think this honestly does answer the question why Lucid really did bring up the whole reverse stock split. And I mentioned that 100%, mentioned exactly why they were going to be doing that, and I called out Mark's BS on how they wanted to incentivize institutions to buy. It was just because they clearly foresaw what might come for Lucid, and if they get down to the $1 strike price, it was going to result in them doing a reverse stock split. No different than what Polestar is doing and many other EVs prior to them. So I think just it's a very bad scenario right now. Aside from all of that fun stuff though, on the chart itself, as I've mentioned, the only positive is that it's very oversold. This is a falling knife right now. You're going to have a lot of people saying, hey, this is a time to buy. Definitely, if you have a long-term time horizon and you don't mind a lot of volatility, then yeah, have at it, buy the dip. These videos are not kind of meant to get you to buy, nor is it I'm not here to get you to buy or sell. It doesn't matter to me. All I'm doing is kind of portraying the data, and when I see misinformation being brought up, I acknowledge it, and I just wanted to have everyone have the most concrete information, right? So if you want to buy the dip, have at it, but looking at the market position, you see no willing buyers. So things could get very real very fast. Aside from all of that though, there really hasn't been any new analyst ratings, aside from Stifel. That one came out a couple days back, $17 price target, and supposedly in the eyes of a lot of individuals, that's why Lucid did go down. But I think it's just more of a macro data. And even when Lucid was kind of still going down over the last several years, I've kind of quietly hinted to a lot of individuals, imagine what would happen if the market turns bearish. Lucid's been struggling in a bullish market. So imagine if things turn very bearish. And right now we are experiencing that. So things could go very, very south even from here. So you guys do whatever floats your boat, but I think generally Lucid does need to do a lot of cleaning, and it needs to really start with management. And Yeah, they need to really do something. And I think it even extends to Mark's marketing. Like, that has been horrible. I think they really need to revamp that and everything else. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. If you are looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, despite everything that's happening in the broader market, pop over to my Patreon. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.